we are supposed to get a little cold snap, so everybody's freaking out, bundling up their pipes so they don't freeze. We're not equipped to handle the cold here. One thing about Houston, it's a swamp, basically. So the ground is ever changing, moving and rolling around, so that's a big factor in weather events as well. I was just outside though. It doesn't feel, it feels nice in my opinion. It's not cold. I mean, there's a little crisp to the air, but it's definitely not cold. But speaking of cold, coming in with PTR, the morning chill, the cucumber here. Oh man, I just felt one of those rogue chin hairs. I always get one like right here, and it's not the kind of thing you can always see, but like once you feel it, you're like, the working theory as to why those pop up is like, for whatever reason, you'll have one follicle that's like hyper androgen responsive, and it just like converts to a terminal hair. TMI, I know, but I'm sure you all can relate. Got my little wristies on. But in all seriousness though, a lot of women with PCOS deal with hirsutism, hair growth in a male pattern. There used to be this prescription cream called Florinith, Vanica, and that's been taken off the market, no longer exists. And Vanica was an option because it wouldn't get rid of the hair, but it would slow down the growth cycle so that you would need to remove the hair loss frequently. But it could be irritating, and I found that patients, they try it out, but it was not something that was motivating to continue to use. Like the results just were not worth the upkeep for a lot of people. There's laser hair removal, and then there's epilation, waxing, all of those things. But those things can end up being really irritating. Shaving, gets the job done. It doesn't make the hair grow back faster though. That's a myth. Feels coarser because you cut it. It's not the end is not tapered, so when it grows back, it has that blunt tip, so it feels coarser as opposed to the taper. But it's not as though it's thicker. You have this root and papilla, like almost like a ball and socket down there, and there are all these like growth factors and things that communicate. So like people assume that like cutting the hair up here has any sort of downstream effect on the hair growth cycle. It doesn't, because that's all like growth factors and chemokines and cell signaling and molecular biology going on down there. It doesn't care what kind of grooming practices you're doing. Now, when you tweeze, when you pull on a hair, what happens is the hair shaft down below the skin surface, it gets kind of fractured. So it can grow back wonky. And that's one reason why people can often end up being more predisposed to ingrown hairs from like excessive tweezing and plucking. A lot of ingrown hairs too is dependent on the location, like from the sides of the neck, really vulnerable because the skin there, it's kind of thin and there's a lot of, redundancy. Plus the texture of your hair. Tight coiled hair, curly hair are more likely to pierce. All right, let's rinse this off. All right, the Chestnut AHA Essence. I'm gonna paint it on, I just do one pump. This is gonna last a long time. And then I just like paint it on in a thin layer here. Try and get an even layer too. That absorbs really quickly. I'm coming in with the Whoa Glow. I really like this. It definitely gives a significant amount of color because I've gotten some comments like, what is on your face? It's this. It kind of gives like almost like a sunless tanner look. I have to remember to take these off. Forget they're on, and I go about my morning routine. I'm like, oh, I still have my little wristbands on. Time to crack into a new bag of beans per usual. I feel like I go through a bag of beans once every 2 weeks. I'm just gonna, off with your head. Uh-oh, ooh, this is what happens when I try and film without my tripod. Bean overboard. Yeah, I know there are easier ways to do this. Thanks for pointing that out. Fun story of a coffee junkie. When I was a child, and whenever I would go into a perfume shop in the mall, they'd always have those little shot glasses of coffee beans for you to smell in between smelling the perfumes. I used to go up to those and just huff them. I could care less about the perfumes. I just wanted to smell the coffee beans. It was love at first whiff, what can I say? One thing I like about this little Bodum grinder that I've noticed in comparison to some other coffee bean grinders, when you go to dump the grounds out, it doesn't mash down the grounds down in there. Sometimes, I mean, there's a little bit of that, which you can just scoop out with the stir stick, but some of them like really end up packing it down in there if it's too cramped in there. All right, we've got the last of the holiday scents. This is the Better Homes and Gardens Spice Christmas Balsam. I have to say, I loved this. This is a Walmart candle. It's lasted a good long while. It has a nice balsam scent, which I guess is wintry. I love the smell of a balsam candle. So today's outfit, I'm wearing, I love these Chaps pullovers. I have this one in navy blue and I also have one in red. They're really soft, they're really comfortable, and they're like under $14 from Walmart. But I went ahead and put this pretty pin that I got for Christmas. It's an antique from Portugal. I thought that looked nice there. And I just have some jeans on, also from Time and True from Walmart. And I'm wearing my hair down. I've got some little hoops from FabFitFun Box 2 boxes ago, I want to say. I have the gold ones and I also have them in silver. All right, before I head out, these are the shoes that I'm wearing. They're also from Wally World. Super comfortable. I've been wearing them a lot. They're these little booties, faux leather, really comfortable. Not the best, not the best look at them. Yeah, they're really comfortable. So that's what I'm wearing. Well guys, I'm here at my favorite place, the library, because I need to return Demon Copperhead. I finished it. So good. I have not read a book in a long time that I would consider a page turner, but this certainly was. So this book, Demon Copperhead, is a modern take on David Copperfield, and it's really, I enjoyed it from page 1 all the way to the end. I never got bored. It always had like some interesting turns and twists. The dialogue I loved. The main character, his inner monologue, oh man, hilarious. I mean, it's very, your emotions are very up and down. You know, at one point you're like super elated, you feel like things are going in a good direction for the guy, and then you know, it takes a turn. Really a good story. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and it doesn't surprise me because I've said this before, but Barbara Kingsolver, far and away, I have not read anything by her that I did not like. I'm looking at the back of the book, and I want to say I read Prodigal Summer because that name sounds so familiar to me. Poisonwood Bible is really good, and I feel like Prodigal Summer was good too. I have not read Flight Behavior, Unsheltered, or The Lacuna. Perhaps they will have one of those here. I may just have to get another Barbara Kingsolver because this was so good. Although, was it last weekend? I solicited book recommendations from you guys in the comments, and I appreciate you indulging in my request because I wrote down a list of some of your recommendations. Maybe I will find one of them here. A Long Walk to Water, Convoluted Universe, Breasts and Eggs? Or is that an autocorrect? Was it Beasts and Eggs or Breasts and Eggs? We'll never know. When the Crow's Away, The Lacuna, Assistant to the Villain, Emily Wilde, Encyclopedia of Fairies, and the Lies of Loch Lamora. Those were some of your recommendations. I wrote them down here because, you know, like, I find myself sometimes in the library and I'm just like, oh, I want a book, but what do I get? And, you know, you kind of just get like a little miscombobulated. So I have your list of recommendations. We'll see if they have any of those, but I may just find something else that speaks to me. You never know what you're going to get in the library, but 99.9% of the time you're going to get something if you're me, because I don't think I ever leave empty-handed. It's crowded. I'm in the back lot, which is a good sign. The front lot is completely full. The parking lot, that's a good sign. It's bopping, which makes sense, you know. People come here to study, you know, it's the height of school season, exams, things of that sort. So let's get our steps in. Oh, it's not that far. All right, here we have some books for sale. I always like to peruse this. The Candy Smash from the Lemonade War series. It's a child's book. And we have some more over here. Patrick Swayze and Lisa Nemi. These are some kids' books here. We have some new books here. Dungeons and Dragons. I never explored Dungeons and Dragons. So we have some graphic novels. This is a series, I guess. Book 6 of Lord of Chaos. Comment below if you've read these. Kind of seem like Game of Thrones. It's kind of what that is giving me. Reminiscent of The Great Reclamation. This looks good. Just based on the cover. See, now that I just finished that modern take on David Copperfield, I kind of want to read another Dickens book, because I love Charles Dickens. Oliver Twist would be a good read. Tale of Two Cities is good. Which one is this? David Copperfield. Maybe I should read that again. Why not? Well, naturally, like I said, I could not leave without getting a book. So I saw they had 2 copies of Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds. I love this author. I've read so many of her books, and they're usually pretty good. So I went ahead and got this. Her books are usually kind of, you know, pull you in as well. Speaking of pull you in, when I was in there, you know, I was just saying how it had been a while since I read a good page turner. Beartown by forgetting his first name, Bachman. So that one really sucked me in. I was tempted to go and see if they had any of his books. They did not have any more Barbara Kingsolver books. I mean, I know the library in general does, but I would have to like say, hey, I want this one or that one. So I may have to go online and request the one that I want so that they can, you know, bring it here or whatever. Anyway, I also was elated to see this cookbook by one of my favorite recipe developers, food bloggers, Risha Hingle. This is her Instant Pot cookbook. Everything I've ever made from this woman has been amazing, and her recipes are so good and so unique. She does a lot of Indian cooking too, you know, Indian recipes, kind of like, you know, almost a lot of times fusion, like these baked potatoes with barbecue lentils. That looks amazing. I don't have an Instant Pot, but I have my Kosari multi-cooker, hoping that that will work. I mean, I'm sure it will. Maybe the settings I'll have to play around with a little bit, but yeah, you can't go wrong with any of her recipes. If you are looking for recipe inspiration, definitely check out her Instagram page or her blog for sure, where you can find all the recipes. But yeah, the library was packed. It was jiving. It was kind of noisy in there, so I didn't film too much because, you know, there were a lot of people zooming in and out. So I try and, you know, keep bystanders out of my video. or blur them out when they pop up in the background. But audiobook update, I'm still listening to Nathan Hill's Wellness. It takes me a long time to make it through an audiobook. I don't know about you guys, but there are only certain segments of my day where I can listen to an audiobook, so I go through them really slowly. But this is really good because it's just very, you know, something that I feel like everybody nowadays needs to read with everything on social media and how algorithms and bots are like conditioning our brains to think that things are a certain way when they're just simply not. So yeah, this is a really good book. I've really been enjoying this. The reader is really good. I got it on Audible, but as a side note, plug for the library, they have that Libby app where you can get free with your library cards audiobooks. Definitely check that out because you can really get, you know, a lot of good books that way. I have been doing Audible for a while now, but I also do the audiobooks from the library from time to time. Someone was telling me, I can't remember where I heard this, but somebody was telling me that their library, you can check out like cookingware. Is that a thing? Did I hear that correct? Because that's really cool. You know, you get ideas, you want to make a recipe, it requires some piece of equipment or some type of special dish, and you may only want to make this recipe like once in a blue moon, and you don't want to invest in the thing, or you don't have a lot of space, you're on a budget. I think that's amazing. Like for me, I always go back and forth as to whether or not to buy a KitchenAid mixer. And it's like, do I really want that big clunky thing taking up space on my countertop for the rare occasion that I do make stuff that requires it? But then, you know, I'll always stumble upon a recipe that I'm dying to make, and it's like, in your stand mixer. It's like, should I get one? Should I not? Yeah, I probably won't, but that would be something that would be great to get from like a borrowing system, because I would totally take advantage of that, especially if it would be really cool to be able to borrow like industrial grade kitchen equipment too, like that was really big. I don't know why that would be cool, but I can imagine that being useful to some people. Anyway, I'm rambling. Well, hey guys, the temperature's supposed to drop tonight. It's supposed to get a little chilly willy, so I pulled out my giant fleece onesie. That's so cozy. It's got the big pockets. It's kind of like a robe, and check out this hood. Like when I go to bed I'll go to bed wearing this thing, and I'll just be like a little cocoon. I just hopped out of the shower. Wanted to update you guys. If I didn't already, I can't remember today where we started this morning, but I'm still doing the Manyo Bifida Biome Complex Ampule. This I got in one of the Korean advent calendars. It's basically a hydrating, lightweight ampule. You apply it, I've been applying it at night after I get out of the shower to damp skin. It has ferment extracts in it, which theoretically are enriched in anti-inflammatory compounds, humectants. I've had no issue with it, but I haven't seen much of a difference. And I was reading your comments, and some of you said that it takes multiple bottles, like at least 2 bottles before you start to see a difference, which I can get on board with, because the skin, you know, nothing really changes drastically overnight, of course. It often takes 4 to 6 weeks to really see a change for sure. Although, you know, you kind of get a sense of if a sunscreen, a moisturizer, a face wash is going to cut the bill. You know what I mean? It's going to fit the bill. Anyway, over it, I came in. I've been doing still the Cetaphil Healthy Renew Night Cream. This is so luxe. I'm going to come on over that with Tretinoin in a moment. I have continued to use this Briogeo Farewell Frizz. This came in a FabFit Fun Box. Rosarco milk. What is Rosarco? Maybe one of you guys commented, because I mentioned it in the vlog that went up today, I think. Maybe one of you guys clued me in on what the heck Rosarco is. Hair care products have the most bizarre names and verbiage on the packaging. It's like, what are you even talking about here? It's a milk leave-in conditioning spray, Farewell Frizz. I've been liking this. I'm glad I finally pulled it out of the stash and gave it a try, because so far so good. My hair has been real manageable. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the vlog. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.